What's up, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to buy books on eBay and flip them on Amazon using a software called Flipmine. I'm going to walk you through a whole bunch of books that I purchased on eBay and have actually sold for profit. Like, for example, this water distribution system book that sold for $134 profit, this Japanese house book that sold for $122 profit, this seismic design book that sold for $97. I'm also going to talk about the flipping strategy, the one that I think you should be using. I'm going to go over the way that it works, and I'm also just going to round the video off by showing you some other books that I've also flipped for some pretty significant profit. And if you decide after watching this video that you do want to try Flipmine out, I'd appreciate if you use my link below because that does help support the channel. This is what Flipmine looks like, and these are the exact parameters and rules that I use to find the exact books that I'm going to show you today that I bought on eBay and flipped on Amazon for some pretty incredible profits. I'm looking in the category of books because I'm a bookseller. I'm looking for used books, not new books, just used books. I'm looking for an Amazon price greater than $85, and I'm also looking for a sales rank under 2 million. I'm looking to calculate profit over a 180-day moving average, and I'm also looking to filter the sales rank over a 180-day average as well. And you can see that Flipmine's going to find real eBay listings that meet these parameters and could potentially be books that we can buy on eBay to flip on Amazon. So just a couple of things that I'm seeing so far is this book right here, this Rourke's Formulas for Stress and Strain. It looks like we can buy this on eBay for $67.99. And Flipmine's calculating that we might be able to sell this for $176. Now, if we actually take a look at both listings, all we're really going to do is compare the prices on both and figure out if this is actually a good buy. Now, one thing that I will say is that you have to understand how to use Keepa. And the reason why you need to do that is because these values are not going to be 100% accurate. If you rely on these values alone, you're going to lose a lot of money. So you have to understand how to use a Chrome extension called Keepa. And I can tell you right off the bat that this is not a good deal to buy on eBay. And the reason for that is that generally the price of this book should be selling for around $55 to $60. And the way that I know that is by overlapping the sales rank and the lowest used price. The sales rank is this green line. The used price is this black line. And if you overlap the two, you have an indicator of how often the book sells and also what it sells for. So I can tell very easily that this book sells for around the $65 mark. That's probably what its true value is. So if someone is asking $59.99 plus $8 shipping, that's not really that great of a deal. We're not going to be able to make money and flip that on Amazon. I went ahead and scrolled down a little bit further and I found another listing, this Issues in Internet Law and Society. It looks like the eBay price is $55 and the lowest inferred offer on Amazon is $100, and there is an eBay best offer enabled. We just have to do some basic analysis. Is this book actually undervalued? Can we buy it on eBay and flip it on Amazon? It looks like if we wanted to buy this, we'd have to spend $55 with free shipping. If we go over to the Amazon webpage, one great sign right off the bat is that the lowest used price is $105. But again, we have to go down to the Keepa chart to see if that's actually a reasonable price that someone has been willing to pay for this book historically. So if we take a look at the Keepa chart, again, what I notice is that if I overlap the green line, the sales rank, with the black line, the used price of this book, you notice that there are quite a few sales above $100. And you can see that even though this doesn't sell every single month, there are clusters of times when this book does sell. So this would be a potential flip. Now, again, there's an eBay best offer enabled on this, meaning that we could send the seller an offer. And in this case, you probably would want to do that because if I use Seller Amp over here on the left and I put in my buy cost of $55 and I put in what I think I could probably sell this book for, which is probably around $95 to $100, you can see that while I would make a profit of $14 and a 25% ROI, I could potentially get a much better deal if I send an offer. So what I would do is probably send the offer of maybe $40 or $35. And you can see that if I send an offer for $40, then all of a sudden I can make an ROI of 72%. So now that I've generally showed you how this works, what I'm going to do is actually show you real books that I bought on eBay and flipped on Amazon and made some pretty incredible profits with. The first book that we're going to look at is this water distribution system book. You can see that I bought this book here on eBay for $35.45. I flipped it on Amazon for $210, and that gave me a profit of $134. Here's that exact listing on Amazon, and I'm going to scroll down to the Keepa chart and show you why I bought the book. Now, one thing that's actually interesting to note right now is that the buy box price is actually $210. If you don't know what the buy box is, it simply refers to this box right here on any Amazon product webpage where there's this added cart button. And it turns out that most Amazon customers will just buy whatever's in the buy box. That's why it's really important to kind of understand what the buy box price is. But again, one thing we want to make sure is that buy box price actually reasonable? Okay, here's the Keepa graph for this book. And one thing that you can see again is if you overlap the sales rank, here, the green line with the black line, which is the lowest used price, it's pretty easy to tell what this book is selling for. For example, during this period of time where the sales rank is dropping, like these are sales in the $100 mark. These are sales at $165. Here's a sell at $100. Here's a sell back here at $198. Here are a couple of sells at $212. This book is selling for well over $100. So I know that if I can pick it up over here on eBay for $35.45, I'm buying a book that is completely undervalued. And so the way that I'm going to make money selling this book is just by selling it for what it's worth. And that's exactly what I did. I sold it for about $200, and you can see that it made a profit of $134. The second book we're going to look at is called The Japanese House. I purchased this on eBay for $84.32. You can actually see that it didn't even come with the dust jacket, but I ended up selling this book on Amazon for $254.76. So again, let's jump right into the Keep It chart so I can show you why I bought this book. Here's the product listing for this book. You can see that right now the buy box price is $254.99. There's 15 used offers starting as low as $175 and going up. And if we take a look at the Keep It chart, one thing that you'll notice again is that if you hover over the sales rank with the black used lowest price, that's going to give you an indication for what the book is selling for. So when I come across this book on eBay and I can see that I can buy this for $84, what I'm really trying to do is figure out what is it selling for on Amazon and compare the price. If it's selling for about half or a third of the price as it is on Amazon, then that could be a really good indicator that this is a book that we can flip and make some money on. So if I go ahead and just use my cursor to hover over the black use line and I basically look at when the sales rank is dropping, I'm basically able to see, hey, this book was selling for $250. Sold here for $258, sold there for $175, sold here for $214. So if you think about this book selling for $175 and you know that you could buy for $89, clearly you're buying this book undervalued. And so what I did was I went ahead and sent mine in. It sold for $254, which is actually significantly above what the lowest used price was at the time when I sold it. But I was able to win the buy box. And generally, if you're in the buy box and someone does need to buy the book, it's oftentimes going to be you who they're buying the book from. Here's the third book. It's called Seismic Design. I purchased this on eBay for $106.55, flipped it for $249.99, and that made a profit of $97.44. So again, let's hop on over to the Keep It chart and show you why I bought this book. Here's the product listing for this book. You can see that right now the buy box new price is $272.99. It looks like the buy box used price is $255. And again, you can look at all of the used and new offers right above here. I'm going to scroll down to the Keep It chart because again, I'm making my purchasing decision based upon the past historical data of this book. The first thing that I noticed about this book is that its used price and also its new price are very, very consistent. And I also noticed that the sales rank is dropping. So the reason why I picked this book up is pretty simple. If I could buy this for $109 and there's recorded historical data over the past year to show that on Amazon, this book is selling for well over $250 throughout the year, then buying it for $109 and being able to flip it for $250 would give me enough margin to actually make some profit. Now, I hope that the process of how this works is starting to make sense. The goal really is to use Flipmine, which is a software, to buy undervalued books on eBay. What you're going to do when you buy the book is send it either to a prep center or do your own prep yourself and send it to an Amazon warehouse. Amazon themselves is going to store the book, and whenever a customer buys it, they're basically going to get offered free Prime shipping. It's going to go to the customer, and as a result, Amazon's going to pay you money for selling the book to that customer. And one thing that I think is really important to note is that there are a number of different flipping strategies when it comes to buying books on eBay and selling them on Amazon. I'm going to try to explain to you which one worked best for me, and I think it's pretty apparent already from some of the books I've showed you and also what clearly is highlighted here. But let's start with the first flipping strategy, and that is exploiting the Prime gap. So if it wasn't apparent already, on Amazon, there are two different types of sellers you can buy from. You can buy from a merchant seller, which is somebody who's going to ship the product to you directly from their own warehouse or their own house even. And then there's Amazon Prime sellers who are actually going to store their inventory in an Amazon warehouse, and Amazon's going to do all the fulfillment and send it to the customer in 1 or 2 days. What I mean by exploiting the Prime gap is buying a book for what it's actually worth and then trying to profit off the differential in price between the lowest used price and the Amazon Prime price. And to give you an example of that, again, let's go over to a product listing and let's look at Keepa. Here's a great example of that strategy in action. So what you can see is that if I click on the used offers of this book right now, the lowest used price you can buy this for is $31 in free shipping from a merchant seller. But if you look at the buy box price, which is the Prime seller, if you wanted to buy this and get it shipped to you in 2 days, it's going to cost you $78.45, which is over double the price of the lowest used price available. So the strategy of trying to exploit the Prime gap is you buying this book for $31 on Amazon or on eBay or some other marketplace, and then trying to send it in and flipping it for the lowest Prime price, which is winning the buy box. And the reason why that's a very slippery slope is because fundamentally you're not buying the book undervalued, or in other words, you're not actually getting a good deal in the book because you're paying for the book what it's worth. And again, if you take a look at the Keep It chart, one thing that you'll notice is that the used price when we overlap that with the sales rank, this book is generally selling for around the $35 to $39 mark. So if you are someone who's to come in here and buy this for $31, you're not really getting a good deal on it. And the only way that you would make money is if you are actually able to exploit the prime gap. Now, I'm not saying that you can't do that. I'm just saying that it's much less likely that that business strategy is going to work. So instead, let's look at a different strategy. The second strategy that a lot of people are going to try to use is to exploit the textbook season. Here's what I mean by trying to exploit the textbook season. So this Campbell biology book regularly in August and also in January sells so much more frequently than it does throughout the year because that's when most students go back to school and that's when they need this book. Now, it just turns out that the sales rank of this book actually happens to be very good throughout the entire year, but specifically during August and September and also during January, you'll see that the sales rank has this little U shape, which indicates that the sales velocity or how many people are buying the book just shoots through the roof. Now, one thing that you'll see happen in the previous textbook season here in August and September is that the used price went from about $45 all the way up to about $140. And so what I mean by trying to exploit textbook season is in the off season, trying to buy the book when it's cheaper and then selling it during the textbook season for more money. Now, again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this business model. I'm just saying from my personal experience of trying to do this, buying books in the off season and selling them during the textbook season, I haven't had a whole bunch of luck doing that. To illustrate that point again, here's another book. This is Psychology with DSM-5 Update. One thing that you notice about this book is that its sales rank also is very textbook cyclical, meaning that in August and September and also January and February, you see the sales rank start dropping quite a bit. And what you'll notice happen is that the used price during that time skyrockets. In the off season, it can get as low as $20, and all of a sudden, during the textbook season, it can go up to about $150 or more. And that's a pattern that this book has seen over the last few years. Now, again, I'm not saying that trying to exploit textbook season is a bad thing and that you can't make money with it. You definitely can. I'm just saying that if the core business model is to exploit textbook season, I think it might be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more difficult to have something that's sustainable. And again, that's only speaking from my experience because this is something that I've tried to do. And in the past, I found that a lot of the books that I bought in the off season to try to flip during textbook season, they didn't really pan out. Like they didn't actually go up like the Keepa graph suggested. So again, take that with a grain of salt. So that leaves us with the third flipping strategy, the one that I employ, and that is to buy undervalued books. And what I mean by that is to buy incorrectly priced books. And one great way to do that is to go on eBay, where there are these eBay sellers who may not know what their books are worth, where they list the book there for considerably less than what they should be listing it for, i.e. they're incorrectly pricing their book. Then you end up scooping it up, buying it, and then reselling it for what its true value is on Amazon. And like I said, these two other strategies, exploiting the prime gap and exploiting the textbook season, it's not like I ignore those things. It's just I try to stack those on top of me buying undervalued books, because I feel like if you fundamentally buy something that's undervalued, you should be able to make money just by selling it for what it's worth. And then on top of that, yeah, try to exploit the prime gap, try to exploit the textbook seasonality as well. But as a core of my business model, I'm fundamentally trying to buy undervalued books. So to illustrate that point of buying undervalued books, here's another book called Charisma on Command. I bought this on October 11th for $31.81 on eBay, and you can see that it sold for a total of $135. So let's jump into the Keepa graph and see why I bought this. The first thing that you'll notice when you come to the product listing page is that the buy box price is $135. The lowest use offer right now is actually $129.99. And if we take a look at the Keepa graph, what you'll notice is that a lot of these sales rank drops are at a price of above $100. So my thought process is, if this book's available on eBay for $31 and the historical data on Keepa shows that the book is selling for $100 or more, then that clearly is a good deal, because I'm basically buying the book for a third of what its real value is. And all I really have to do is send it in and try to sell it for its real value. And if that actually happens, then I'll make money. In this case, I was able to sell it for $135, and that left me with a profit of $77. All right, here's another book called The Witcher, The Wild Hunt Game of the Year Edition. I purchased this on eBay on October 15th for $59.99. With free shipping, it sold for $178.19, and that left me with a profit of $82. And again, let's go right over to the Keepa graph. What you notice here is that if you come to the product listing page, the buy box is $153, which is well above what I paid for the book. The lowest use offer right now is $149.99. And again, if we take a look at the Keepa chart and we look at the lowest use price and overlap that with the sales rank, we notice that this book is selling for well over $100. There's even recorded sales above $200 as well. So again, me selling mine for $175 is not even as high as I probably could have charged. But I did also notice that the used offer count was increasing a little bit. And generally, If the use offer count is increasing, that means there's more sellers, and theoretically the price should go down a little bit. I was able to sell my copy for $178, and that left me with a profit of $82. All right, the next book we're going to look at is the Holy Bible in its original order. I purchased this on October 19th for $26.17, and then I sold it for a total of $99.99 for a $49 profit. I'm on the product listing page right now for the book, and what's actually really interesting is that no one's on the listing right now, meaning everyone who was selling the book sold out, and you can actually see that on the Keepa chart. Right now, the used offer count is 0. But again, same story. I bought this for $26. If we use our cursor to hover over the lowest used price and we overlap the sales rank, we're seeing that back here, there are some sales in the $50 to $75 range. And then there's a number of sales in the $79 to $85 range, and even a couple sales at $99, one of which was me. So again, this is just the same story. I'm buying a book that's undervalued, that's incorrectly priced, and then just selling it for what it's worth, and that's how I'm profiting and making money. All right, the last book that we're going to look at today is The Principles of Flat Pattern Design. I purchased this on October 9th for $36.25, flipped it on Amazon for $101.99, and that left me with a $42 profit. Same story here. You can see that the buy box for the spiral bound is $101.99. You can see that there's 11 used offers. The lowest used offer is $81. If we come down to the Keepa chart and we use our cursor to hover over the black lowest used price and we overlap the sales rank, again, what we should notice is that this book is selling regularly for above $85. It's even selling for $100 or more a few times. And what that means is that if this book is available for $36 and it's regularly selling for $80 or more, then clearly you're buying a book that is undervalued. You're buying a book that's been priced incorrectly on eBay, and you can make money by flipping it for what it's worth. Now, one quick note about Flipmine is that a lot of the listings that you'll find are actually not books that are undervalued on eBay, and that's because there are a lot of mismatches when it comes to Flipmine pulling data from both eBay and Amazon. So there is a lot of digging that you have to go through this, but that's why it's called Flipmine, because mining is a process that takes a considerable amount of effort to find the good stuff. And like I said, the parameters that I use have been successful in finding me the books that I've showed you. But again, I'm looking at a lot of books in order to find those nuggets. Let me just give you a couple tips to help you be a little bit more successful using this platform if you're just starting out. The first thing that I'd highly recommend that you do is download a Chrome extension called Easy Auto Refresh. And up here under your extensions, you'll see that the Easy Auto Refresh is here. And basically what you can do is set this web page to refresh on its own in whatever interval that you want. For example, if you want this page to refresh every 90 seconds, you can type in 90, you can click start. And what's going to happen is it's going to automatically refresh your web browser. And the reason why that's so important is because pretty much every deal that I found that I just showed you are new listings, meaning they just popped up here on Flipmine, and I was the first or maybe the first few people to see it and actually pull the trigger and buy it. So from my experience, a book that's undervalued should go really quickly because there should be people out there doing what I'm doing and identifying that the book is undervalued and that you can make money by selling it for what it's worth. So that's the first tip. The second tip is that I think you should really only be looking at the newest listings if you're looking for books because it is highly competitive. My next tip would be for you to explore other niches out there. You notice that I sell primarily textbooks, but if you're somebody who also sells DVDs and board games and electronics and tools, those are all niches that you can look for. And I guarantee you there are tons of things on eBay that are profitable that you can flip to Amazon. So if you found any value in this video that you just watched, I'd highly recommend you check out all my other videos on the channel because it's going to show you how to source books in many other ways, not just using Flipmine, but also using Keepa features and some other things you might not have heard of. And if you do enjoy the content, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.